All right. Good evening or good, yeah, good evening, people. I am your host, Janine, and I'm waiting for Jarron to join us. He should be joining us real shortly. He'll be in here. Again, those who are on Facebook, I'm actually trying to see it now. Okay, so I do see two on Facebook. However, if you would like to join us directly, the webinar number is there, and you could join in the chat itself. Um, in the meantime, subscribe and follow me on YouTube and everything. Follow me on Instagram, on YouTube, and also on Twitter. And so today we're going to call, this is about our mental health. So last week, Jarron and I covered some issues that people are experiencing since this quarantine. People are dealing with depression, anxiety. We also touched on domestic abuse and things of that nature. So we're going to talk some more about those things just in details. What are the signs? Some people probably never experienced what anxiety or depression or any signs of mental health. And so this may be your first time experiencing it with someone or even just with yourself. Um, so for those who, let me see, can I? So for those of you who are experiencing this for the very first time, this is a show you definitely want to pay attention to. Take some notes, see what's really happening, what's going on in your world. But for the most part, I hope everybody's been having a pretty good day so far. Thursday, one closer day to Friday. I'm curious how everybody's been feeling because I remember usually on this day we'll post everything about we're so happy that it's almost Friday. And lately I haven't seen those posts because everybody's pretty much home. So I'm just curious how everybody's doing now, being home, adjusting. Curious if people are really anxious to get back to work or not. I know, like I said, for me, I work at home. I have been doing that so for the past few years. So it wasn't a huge adjustment for me, other than just having to adjust to my son being home from school. And that was the only little adjustment that I had to make. Let me text Jarron. Um, and I think, Maria, if you're watching this, I will definitely address your question that you had earlier regarding PTSD during this time of quarantine. Some people may have symptoms of PTSD right now, may have experienced it pre-quarantine, and maybe it triggers something. There's a few things I'm sure that are going on with people during this time. So I just texted Jarron. So Jarron, even if you're watching me, if you're at the house watching me, somebody say something to me so I know you're on your way. And that way I can get you in here. And we can get things going. I'm going to do something here. Mm. what I may end up doing. I haven't heard back from him. Okay, so what I'm probably gonna do. Okay, he's on his way. Let me see. Wait 1 second. Let me give you a word. I don't know if it's not him. Hold on. Let's X over there. Let's see. You're asking me for. Let me resend this. That's weird. But he's on his way, you guys, so he's coming. Definitely on his way right now. Let me see. To have one person watching. So Jarron is on his way in here. There he goes. Hey. Hey, sir.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, what's going on?
You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Honestly, I'm a little tired.
Tired? Okay, yeah, I'm a little tired too, but I'm okay.
I'm a little tired, but I'm good. I've been having a very good day, and I was trying to gear up for this evening because we got a couple things going.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, I'm doing very well. So
Okay,
we are live already on Facebook, just so you know,
okay, cool.
so everybody can hear us and know what we're talking about. And I have provided the webinar to the viewers of Facebook if they wish to join us. Uh,
Okay, cool.
so I was just pretty much giving a review of some things we talked about last week, things that people are experiencing during quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
depression, anxiety, and some different health issues people may be experiencing for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, what would be some symptoms that people should be aware of when it comes to depression or
Mm-hmm.
anxiety? Maybe even I'm gonna go as far as maybe even schizophrenia,
Okay.
PTSD, things like that. Like what some major ones that you maybe have heard about that are becoming more common with quarantine
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's stuck in the house. What are some symptoms that you have heard of, or some things that you've heard of, and that are becoming more common with everything that's been happening?
Okay. Well, the three largest mental health disorders and mental illnesses are anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Those are the top three. Those are the ones that get reported the most throughout the United States. Let's start with the definition of exactly what mental illness is.
Okay.
Mental illness is a condition that negatively affects a person's thinking, feeling, and mood,
Okay.
and it can result in the impairment of daily functioning in home, in school, in the workplace, and in the community.
Okay.
So that's the definition of mental illness.
Okay.
Mental health, mental health is the ability to process, experience, and navigate through stressors, both past and present, at optimal levels of functioning, which means you're able to take care of the daily activities that you need to take care of, whatever you need to do without the presence or impairment in thought, feeling, mood, or behavior. So that's the definition of mental health.
Okay.
Okay. Now, some signs and some symptoms of mental illness, there are a whole bunch. So I'm gonna kind of go through them all. And if you have any questions or if you want to interject at any time, you can. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first sign, not necessarily the first, but one of the signs of mental illness could be changes in mood. So 1 minute you're happy, or you may feel happy on a certain day, then maybe later that day, for whatever reason, you may find yourself experiencing some anger.
Okay.
Now, that anger can be warranted, meaning it can be related to a stressor, or it can be unwarranted, meaning you just may feel angry and may not know why, or may
Okay.
not be able to identify what the trigger of your anger is. Another sign of mental illness could be lack of energy,
Okay.
meaning you're up, you're going, taking care of things. Then maybe the next day you may find yourself with no energy, not wanting to get out of bed,
Hmm.
not being able to even physically drag yourself out of bed.
Okay.
If
Would
you
that be something more like in the lines of depression, maybe?
it
Or
could be a symptom or a sign of depression. It
okay.
could be a sign of some other things too, maybe low blood pressure. Maybe,
Mhm.
maybe you're diabetic and maybe you didn't eat enough the night before. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
It's
you wake
different
up feeling,
things.
feeling low, feeling sluggish. Yeah, it could be a symptom of some other things as well. But lack of energy is definitely a sign of mental illness. To go along with lack of energy, fatigue, just extreme tiredness. You may be worn out from the workday, or worn out because you had a bad day the previous day.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Just fatigue, feeling extremely sluggish, not feeling like doing anything, either anything that you would normally do or anything that you had planned to do.
Okay.
And you may just want to stay in bed all day, or maybe not even stay in bed all day. Maybe you just want to sit on the couch and do nothing. But in the back of your mind, there are certain things that you have to take care of, but you still may not feel like doing those things. And
Okay.
fatigue is a very heavy feeling. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You may find that you're tired, but you can feel it physically. You can feel it. Your head may be
Like a
hurting.
weight is on you.
You may feel pressure in your shoulders, in your back. There's some physical symptom that goes along with fatigue. It's a very,
Okay.
very heavy feeling.
It's not just that, oh my goodness, I'm tired because I have a long
No,
day. You physically feel
no,
something
no. You
happening with your body.
you are physically, emotionally drained and depleted.
Okay. Uh-oh, Jay. Uh-oh.
Fatigue is a very
Okay.
is a very heavy feeling. Another sign of mental illness will be unwarranted sadness. You may find yourself feeling sad and may not know why. You
Mhm.
know, and this is different. This is different from grief. You may find yourself crying or just in a real state of melancholy,
Mhm.
and you may not be able to identify why. So, you may tell somebody that you trust or a family member, "Hey, I feel sad today." Well, they be like, "Why?" And you may find yourself saying, "I don't know." And
You
you
don't
and
know
you
what's going on.
you know what's going on. You just feel sad.
Okay.
Also, another sign of mental illness would be fearfulness. Just feeling scared and unafraid of whatever. It could be fear of the unknown. It could be fear of something that you feel may be getting ready to happen. Um, it may be something that there may be something that you may need to do or may want to do, and fear can overtake you to where you're not able to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Hypervigilance also. I know that's a huge term, but
Mhm.
hypervigilance goes along with fear, but it would be the equivalent of, for that heavy feeling that comes with fatigue.
Mhm.
Hypervigilance is that heavy feeling that comes with fear. So
Okay.
you're fearful of just about everything. You're fearful
Mhm.
of going outside. You're fearful of going to a party, because you feel like you may be being talked about. by others.
Okay. Okay.
Um, you're fearful of, maybe trying something that you wanted to try, even if
Mhm.
it's something small, but that the fear of something happening to you, something bad happening, something going wrong, and you can feel it in your head, you can feel it in your neck, you can feel it in your shoulders. Hypervigilance is that that fight or flight response system in your brain is activated. That's what hypervigilance is.
Okay.
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 Any questions or
No, because well, first of all, I want everybody to realize a lot of things that he's covering. This does not mean you turn around and look at, especially if you got a significant other and God think you got a mental issue. Let's not do that.
no, don't
Don't
no,
do
don't
that
do
one.
that. But definitely put
But pay
if
attention.
you're on Facebook, definitely put some questions in the comment section.
Yeah.
If you're on Zoom with us, put some questions in the chat. Janine, you can probably see the questions on Facebook. Let me know if you see any. And
Yeah,
I'll try
I'm
to.
over here looking at it right now, so I'm trying to see if I see any. I've only saw a couple comments where, um, people were saying our signal was a little weak.
Okay.
Um, but other than that, I can see that people are watching right now.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
did provide the webinar if people want to come on here as well. So make sure
Okay.
at the
Cool.
top of
Okay.
this.
Okay. How's my sound? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I know you're
I can hear you
recording,
just
so
fine. And if
cool.
anybody else is having a problem, they
Cool.
could let me know. I
Yeah.
got the,
Definitely.
the
Definitely.
phone next
Okay.
to me so I can see.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All
My
right.
my question would be for because it sounds like a lot of that would be depression, which I think right now would probably be big depression and
Mhm. Mhm.
anxiety.
Mhm.
Um, depression, just having the shock of being in the house now, having
Right.
to not have your consistent routine, and then probably anxiety, especially because of the fear that has been put out there about
Right.
this illness that's out there. So,
Mhm.
and then it could be a combination of both. So I'm sure a lot of that is going on. But my one question, I'm glad that Maria did address it, was PTSD
Okay.
because um, you know, and especially with military personnel, we know there are a lot of
Mhm.
people that were in the
Yeah.
military that do suffer from PTSD.
Right.
We are aware that people that have had traumatic passes, whether they were molested, whether they were raped, they
Right.
were involved in a violent act,
Mhm.
something caused them to have, they now have PTSD that they're dealing with.
Mhm.
And some may have been able to, I won't even say it's gone, but they've learned how to deal
Work
with
through.
it.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's now part of their daily life, but they know how to, I guess the right
Live
one, I
with.
want to say
Mhm.
manage it. Am
Manage
I
it.
saying the right
Mhm.
term here?
Yeah. Mhm. You
Um,
are.
so if you're able to manage it now with something like this that has happened, some other feelings can now, it could trigger something.
Right.
So how
Definitely.
would people
Definitely.
dealing with PTSD, how would they handle that right now?
Well, you know what? PTSD or post traumatic stress disorder is a very complex disorder because it deals with different things. It deals with things like stressors, which could be either past or present. So someone, like you said, someone in the military may
Hmm.
be suffering from PTSD due to war, combat. Um, Somebody else may be dealing with PTSD because they've been a victim of domestic violence or physical abuse or sexual abuse or any other type of trauma. So there's the stressor. PTSD also involves some type of intrusion. Intrusion, when I say intrusion, I mean some type of reminder of the
Mm,
event.
yes.
And that's the trigger, the reminder of the event. So um, for somebody with military experience who struggles with PTSD, they may be triggered by loud noises, certain sounds.
Hmm.
I know a lot of military people who struggle with PTSD may not leave their house
Okay.
because of simple things like the sound of traffic or the loud sound that motorcycles make, or car backfires that may remind them of the sounds of war or combat. Um, and if you are military personnel and you're dealing with those type of triggers, and you are in therapy, hopefully you are, um, you can definitely utilize breathing techniques, deep breathing techniques, or any strategies that you find soothing. If you have headphones, maybe placing, maybe if the sounds outside of your house are too tough or too hard to deal with or too triggering for you,
Mm-hmm.
utilize your headphones. Maybe placing your headphones on your ears for maybe about 10 minutes or so, and maybe doing some deep breathing exercises. That would be a good way to manage the triggers of the sounds that come with PTSD.
Okay.
Um, for anyone that has suffered any type of abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, definitely get in contact with your therapist if you can. Pursue telehealth. Um, for those of you that are already connected to a therapist, use the techniques and the strategies that your therapist has went over with you. Um, Journaling is a good technique or
Mm-hmm.
strategy, like I mentioned before, to get those feelings that are suppressed out, you know, in a
Mm-hmm.
positive manner. You know, write your feelings, even if it's sentences or words or anything that you're feeling at the time related to your trauma. Find a way to get those feelings out so
Okay.
that they won't stay suppressed and you won't find yourself at crisis level.
Okay. My next question would be, there are states that are reopening up. Some
Hmm.
places that are slowly, businesses are beginning to open in certain areas. Um, but there's still that uncertainty
Right.
as far as, is it really safe to go out? I
Right.
touched on it earlier this week.
Hmm.
Personally, like I've already said, I don't think it's smart to go out right now. For me, I think
Yeah.
it's too soon. Um, but there will be people that want to go out and people that still want to go and just get to life back to normal. But there are
Right.
people that are hesitant.
Hmm.
um, what would you say to people that are more hesitant, more like, I don't think I should go?
Hmm. Well, I would say to them, trust your gut.
Yeah.
You know, for those that are more hesitant and don't feel safe going out, don't go out. You know, um, why put yourself at one at risk for contracting the virus, just from being exposed to other people who may or may not be carrying, those symptoms, or may have not developed the antibodies unknowingly.
Mm.
Um, Stay home.
Stay home.
There's
I was
no sense.
gonna say,
There's no sense in putting yourself at greater risk.
right, right. I think, and but would you agree? Because like today, what I did with the kids, I noticed the kids are getting a little antsy because
Hmm.
they've been in here now. We try to take them out at least once a week,
Yeah.
or maybe more. At least take them outside, just if it's going down the street and back.
Hmm.
But kids is getting antsy today. I was like, come on, let's go to Subway just to get out and get some air, go get a sandwich, and come back home.
Right.
Um, but there are people that even don't want to do that. They don't want to even go outside for the 5 minutes or some things that we've been told to at least still get some fresh air, to get some sun,
Hmm. Yeah.
walk around, get some exercise to keep your blood and things flowing. There are
Yeah.
people that do not want to do that. They just want to stay in the house. How
Right.
would you encourage those people to, you know, it's okay to come out and breathe, just do it in moderation, get some air and things like that.
Uh, um, if you do not want to go outside for an extended period of time, at least go outside and stand in front of your house just to get some air, or go sit on your porch for like 5 or 10 minutes
Hmm.
just to breathe. You know,
Okay.
being inside your house, being inside your house for a long period of time and not getting sunlight or fresh air that can mess up your circadian rhythm. You know, meaning your normal body functioning. You know
Oh, really?
how you would function if you would normally just go outside. You
Mhm.
know, and it can it can exacerbate feelings of anxiety. Create more anxiety rather than you going outside for that 5 minutes, getting that fresh air, breathing. Rather than you being in the house for 72 to you know what I mean, 104, 100 and something hours.
Right.
Throughout throughout the
Right.
2 3 week period. So
Right.
if you have an opportunity to go outside, I'm not saying you have to go, you know, to the store and just walk around, and be around a whole bunch of people, because a lot of people that struggle with things like depression, anxiety, and PTSD, they don't like large crowds.
Right.
They
They
don't
don't.
like being around a whole lot of people.
Mm-mm.
So as long as you can find an opportunity to go outside and still be in your own space,
Mhm.
do it for at least 5 or 10 minutes just
Okay.
to get some air, and then when you come back in the house, make sure the windows are open, make sure the AC is on because it's hot.
It
Summer
is.
came early, you know.
It.
So make sure you're doing something to make sure you get that fresh air and that sunlight.
Yeah, because I think that without his heat, Elisa kicked us out of the house and forced us to go out to enjoy his heat. Because it gets hot in my own house, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, I need to be outside. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's good for us just to get out, get that air. And it just sounds like what you're saying is even being in the house can trigger those other things as far as
Hmm.
anxiety,
Yeah.
depression. It can
Yeah.
trigger those things. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
to avoid going deeper into that or even triggering that,
Right.
step outside for some fresh air for a minute
Yeah.
and then
Step outside and
that
breathe.
could change
You
a
know.
little bit of something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, I haven't gotten any more questions, but I do see we have a few people that are watching. So
Okay.
if any of you have questions or anything you guys want to address to Jerron, I know he would definitely be happy to answer them.
Hmm.
I don't think we had anything else really to touch on, but other than that, I think the one thing both he and I still wanted to say was, if you are in a situation, I'm going to provide the domestic hotline number to you,
Hmm.
as well as Jerron provided us last week with the phone number to LA County Emergency Medical
Yes.
Psychiatric Ward, wasn't that?
Hmm. Yep.
So I'm going to provide that again.
Yeah.
But
And I'll
Jerron,
and I'll give you the number for the Suicide Prevention Hotline too. Give me 1 second. Let me
perfect.
pull it up because I always mix up like the last two numbers. Okay, the number for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800
Mm-hmm.
273
Mm-hmm.
8255.
8255. And this is for the National
National Suicide Prevention Hotline.
Suicide Prevention. Have now, and I didn't see this part, but I am curious. Is there a rise in suicide since all this has happened?
Um,
Or
it from what I've been seeing, there's been a small spike, a small increase, a minimal increase in suicide. I saw a story where a doctor at a hospital, who works at a hospital, and I believe she was treating patients with COVID-19.
hmm
Uh, she committed suicide. This was saw this
I
story with
think
like
I
last
read
Friday.
that
Like
story.
last Friday,
Yeah.
she committed
I did
suicide.
read that story.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
I think it was some she didn't want to deal with it or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was too
It was
much.
too much, and it's a lot. I have a lot of friends in the medical field who are nurses. One of my brothers, he's a director of a hospital, and I'm constantly checking on them to see how they're doing, making
Mm,
sure they're okay. Asking them if they, have all the supplies that they need, and,
mhm.
and, and things like that, so they can continue to help the people, you
And I
know?
think we forget that because the people that are on the front line seeing this in the hospitals
Yeah. Mhm.
and things
Mhm.
like that, the
Mhm.
people that are
Mhm.
just even first responders, firefighters, EMTs,
Right.
police
Right.
officers, they're seeing
Right.
things
Right.
we are not
Right.
seeing. And at the
Mhm.
same time have to balance their everyday activities at work and
Right.
having to
Right.
deal with all of this.
Mhm.
And it's a lot, I would think. It's like, you would already think their job is a lot and already
Mhm.
can be stressful, because
Right.
there's already so much they're already dealing with on a
Right.
regular day. So just
Right.
to
And
have
when you're
this
trying to
on
quell
top of it,
right. When you're trying to
I
quell now we're trying to quell a pandemic. It's the stress is amplified, you know.
yes,
And
yes,
and 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 first responders, their job is even tougher. I'm a first responder, but
you are,
I'm not working right now. I'm not working at a hospital or a clinic, but because of my training, and my certification, if there were an emergency, like let's say if I was at a store and there were a crisis with a person who, either became violent, or if a person said that they were planning on hurting themselves or killing themselves, then
hmm
I would have to intervene. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So first responders are definitely, appreciated. Doctors, nurses, mental
yeah,
health clinicians, therapists, social workers, EMTs, um, firefighters, policemen, sheriffs,
yes,
and all of those people that work in a capacity of service, you know.
right. And I was reading an article, I think I saw it yesterday or the day before, and I thought it was just interesting for me to see it because it was right before we were supposed to do this. And
Yeah.
it said the mental profession, those that are in the mental health profession, is
Mm-hmm.
a silent front first responder that
Mm-hmm.
people aren't really paying attention to. And I'm like, if you really think about it, they really are, because even with you guys, you know, you're a therapist, but then you have the psychologist, you have the therapist, you have the
Yeah.
social. These people that are having,
Psychiatrists, all
like,
everybody.
oh
Mm-hmm.
my God,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you forget,
Yeah.
you don't think about, oh God, they're dealing with, it's like they were already dealing with some cases, but now it's
Right. Right.
amplified and
Mm-hmm.
more.
Yeah. 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 That's one thing I told a panel that I was on a few weeks ago. Like a month and a half ago. I told them that one thing that COVID-19 is exposing, it's exposing the urgency of the needs of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be mental health care, whether it be physical health care, the need to get to a doctor, whether it be food, money, resources, whatever the people need. Now it's amplified because we're trying to quell a pandemic.
Yes. And the need for the people is greater than it ever has been before.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been like this. And so for us to see this, I don't know. That's why I keep saying I just hope things don't go back the way they used to be.
Yeah.
you
Right. Right. Right.
we
Right.
need to pay
Whatever. Whatever.
more. I'm
Whatever
going to
people
keep
are
going
doing.
back to
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep saying that we have got to
Whatever
pay
we're
more
doing
attention
for
to
others,
each other.
be more service to people and be more kind to people, we should continue to do it after the quarantine is lifted.
Yeah. And if we
There's
don't,
no reason to stop it. You know,
mm-mm,
if you
no,
have a heart for service, continue to serve the people.
yes. And that's, the people are more important. That's what it is. So it really is. People are more important. Take care of each other. Take care of your family.
Right.
Um,
Definitely.
and that's vital. If anybody gets anything out of this, check on each other
Right.
and take care of one another.
Hmm.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I think is most important. Well, I don't have any more questions,
Okay.
but I think that's all we got for today.
Okay.
And
Wonderful.
if anybody has questions, you guys can respond. The email and everything's already up there, so you guys can definitely send us the email
Yep.
and
And like and
contact
like
with
we
us.
Right. And like we said last week, if you find yourself if you are currently or you know somebody that is in a domestic violence situation, please reach out to us via email or inbox,
Yes.
and we will figure some things out to ensure your safety.
Yes. I can call people. Jarron can call people.
Yep.
We'll figure out something to make sure you're in a safe place because there's nothing
Yep.
worse to be thinking you're safer at home and you're in more danger.
Yep.
So that is not what we want.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and let me remind them about the resource list too. I created a
please,
resource list maybe about a month
did.
ago with different resources for housing, food, education, job placement, employment, different things to help us get through this quarantine. So if you would like a copy of the resource list, put your email either in the chat on Zoom or in the comments on the corner
Facebook.
on the
Yeah.
Facebook Live for the corner, and I will send you a copy of the resource list.
Uh-oh. I think you're there you go, Jay. There you go. You kind of faded
Oh,
out.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But yeah,
Okay. Let me reiterate. If you would like a copy of the resource list that I compiled maybe about a month and a half ago, it's a resource list of different things to help us cope with COVID-19 and the quarantine. Put your email in the chat in Zoom or in the Facebook comments, and I will get the resource list out to you via email.
awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching another Corner
You
Chat.
guys,
I appreciate it. And definitely, we may do this again, but please send in your questions and let us know. We probably definitely, because sounds like we may be coming out within the next month. So I'm sure there's some things we need to
possibly,
talk
hopefully,
about and be
right?
prepared.
Yeah,
Yeah, for what we need to prepare for coming out of this situation. So we will
yeah.
definitely touch on that. But thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jarron. I appreciate your time.
Thanks,
And I
cousin.
will talk with everybody soon. Have a
All
good
right, we'll
one.
talk to you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.